We will start in a minute. So, a very warm welcome to all of you, and thank you indeed. Despite the corona challenges, you made the effort to be with us. We are grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, honorary guests, ministers, ambassadors. We have here with us not only research teams to present to you their innovative work, we have also members from the business community. We have representatives from VC funds, and we are happy to welcome all of you. I would like to stress to all of you that this event is being streamlined, and therefore we start on time and we finish on time. I know that there is people watching us from the US, a lot of people who were engaged in making real progress and in bringing to you what you're about to see. So with this, I welcome to the podium the representative of the chairman of Cyprus Seeds, who unfortunately, because of COVID, could not be with us. Mr. Jeremy Downward could not be with us, but he's sending his warm welcome. So Mr. George Saveriadis, also member of the board of Cyprus Seeds, will say a few words to welcome you.
Thank you, Maria. So welcome all of you. It's a pleasure to see all of you here, despite the difficult conditions. So I will first read you the welcome letter from our chairman, Mr. Downward, and then add a few personal comments. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am thrilled to have the opportunity today to welcome you all, whether you are here in person or joining us virtually, to this truly landmark event. Despite the headwinds of the last 9 months, I am delighted to report that Cyprus Seeds not only survives, but is in robust, good health, as evidenced by the achievements of its first remarkable cohort of teams that you will hear from shortly, and by the quantity and quality of the applications for our second cycle. Cyprus Seeds provides mentorship and financial support. We're immensely proud of all our mentors who are very engaged, highly professional, genuinely altruistic, and tremendous supporters of what we do. Equally, our donors are vital to our ongoing existence, and the fact that they continue to support us as we head into our 3rd year in these difficult times is a testimony to their unwavering belief in the value we add to the academic research community in Cyprus, as it looks to undertake the journey to commercialization. To both our mentors and our donors, we are immensely grateful. Thank you. Finally, none of this would be possible without the tireless dedication and energy of Maria Georgiadou and her colleagues in driving Cyprus Seeds forward in this thoroughly worthwhile endeavor. I very much hope you all enjoy today's event, and again, my sincere thanks for your participation and interest in what we do. This was from our chairman, and I'd just like to add a few words. Cyprus Seeds, by design, is focused on the work coming from our universities and research centers. We should be truly proud of these young institutions and what they have accomplished in their short lifespans. Not only do they educate the youth of this country, but they also host world-class research. I'm not saying that. Our evaluators are. And as importantly, the grants our researchers competitively win at the European level prove it. Talking about Europe, for its next funding cycle, the European Union has set commercializing academic research as a policy priority. There are a large number of funds earmarked for this endeavor. The research excellence demonstrated by Cypriot research institutions over the years bodes well for Cyprus. We are one of many initiatives that aim to build capacity in country to facilitate the process of commercializing research. This capacity building exercise is essential to be able to maximize the absorption of European funds earmarked for innovation. Cyprus Seeds, bringing and adapting American know-how in Europe, an organization with a Boston mind and a Cyprus heart, is an asset for Cyprus in this context. Altogether, we can work towards helping build a knowledge-based economy in Cyprus. It will need to be a collective effort, to which we invite all of you all to join us. Thank you again, and I hope you enjoy what follows.
Thank you, Yorgo. I would like to invite now the Deputy Minister for Research, Innovation and Digital Policy, Mr. Kyriakos Kokkinos, for his short welcome.
Thank you, Maria. Your Excellencies, ambassadors, colleagues, ministers, distinguished guests, researchers, innovators, donors, mentors, local mentors, and also mentors from abroad that are participating in this virtually, unfortunately due to the pandemic. I would like to thank you for being here with us tonight. It's a celebration night. It's the first cycle of Cyprus Seeds. Tonight, we are celebrating these little plants from the seeds that we planted together last year. And in this endeavor, I would like to thank all the people that contributed to this. First of all, I would start from the donors and the inspirers of Cyprus Seeds, especially Mr. George Zavis, Jeremy, who is not here, Maria, George, and all the people that took this very daring decision to come and share with the government through the then Minister of Finance, Mr. Haris Georgiadis, who is here with us tonight. And he called me to his office. I was the National Chief Scientist at that point. He called me to his office and he said, let's have a look on this proposal. And without too much of engineering and study, I have decided, jointly with the minister, that this is a seed that it's worth to put our fertilizer and water and love and trust for taking it to the next level. And here we are today. And I have every faith and full confidence that the 6 grantees that are graduating their first year today, they will convince us through their presentations that this trust was a well-taken decision. Their success, their innovative ideas, their passion for commercializing research work into real product or solutions for our society was their key driving power. It was not just our $500,000 as a government and the money that the donors and the passion of Mr. David for the love of his country and all the other donors that made it happen today. It's the hard work and the passion of these people to create knowledge and convert this knowledge into a product. So today, I believe that we need to congratulate all people that have trusted this idea, and from an idea, Cyprus Seeds is becoming now a real garden. And I have every confidence that this garden will grow as time is passing. Our determination as a government is to interconnect and strengthen our innovation, research and innovation ecosystem through the exchange of knowledge. And what is particularly important on this specific initiative, although there are other initiatives equally worth praising and to be trusted, this has a unique characteristic. It connects our research and innovation ecosystem with our diaspora in the United States primarily, as well as with the Boston Consulting knowledge creation area. And this is extremely important because Cyprus is not an island when it comes to research and innovation. So what is so fascinating, and I had the opportunity also to visit the ecosystem with Cyprus Seeds in MIT and Boston area, and I had a direct exposure to the quality of the work that is being done there, and how these people that are mentors and advisors to Cyprus Seeds are dedicated, and they devoted a lot of time, energy, and passion to help our trusted innovators to be here with us and share their results today. So I would like to thank all the people in the United States that have been visiting Cyprus numerous times to see and share their knowledge and experience with our teams here in Cyprus, and the many hours of remote support that they've been providing. Without their support, this wouldn't have been possible. It is essential to empower and enable our youth for creating a new pillar of our economic competitiveness. This is extremely important for the sustainability of our development and economic model, but also for social prosperity. So this is what we are after as a government, as a ministry, as a Research and Innovation Foundation, and this is the way forward for us to be successful. As a government, I would like to highlight the three important pillars for research and innovation, and these three pillars are underpinning our faith and support to Cyprus Seeds. One pillar is the policy lever. We now have a clear set of policy which is supported by our research and innovation strategy that has been drafted and crafted last year. So there is no lack of guidance on steering mechanism. Our research and innovation strategy document is extremely valuable instrument for our way forward, and we execute our strategy with very specific actions. And on this occasion, I would also like to praise and highlight another great supporter of our research and innovation ecosystem, the collaboration we have with Israel and the ecosystem of Israel, with the great support of His Excellency, the Ambassador of Israel, who is here with us today. The second important is what kind of financial and other instruments we develop to have our strategy being supported. What kind of instruments? These instruments include the tax incentives that we have for our startup ecosystem and our research community, the programs that are being developed by Research and Innovation Foundation for the pre-seed, the seed, and the innovate. We dedicated last year 18 million euros for innovative entrepreneurship. And I don't remember the exact number, it was up to 40 new startups to be supported by 100K each startup. I think finally only 28 made it to secure the grant, and we shifted the money to this year. We funded 8 companies through the seed program, $500,000 each, and another 8 companies, $1 million each. It was for the first time that we had such an instrument. And of course, as you are probably aware, we are setting up a new equity fund with another 20 million euros by the government as a grant, as a seed money for setting up an equity fund for innovative small and medium-sized enterprises for their innovation initiatives. And all these instruments are an integral part of our government strategy and execution plan. Another important element of our way forward is the kind of mentoring and support that we aspire and we go after in developing synergies with other mature ecosystems that we have a lot in common, like the Israel I mentioned before, the US ecosystem, but also we have in our plan to expand and enhance this so that there is a cross-fertilization between our ecosystems in Cyprus to be integral part of a universal ecosystem. As I said before, research and innovation is a universal and global act. Sometimes I say it's like poetry and music that should not have boundaries, geographic or other boundaries. I would like to finish my speech by highlighting our way forward with Cyprus Seeds. We've already announced that our intention to support for this year Cyprus Seeds with a matching fund up to €500,000. It seems that due to coronavirus, the amount of money that we will be able to give as a matching fund will be around 270,000, but I don't think that this is the challenge. The government commitment is there, and it's not just the money that we give, it's our support, our resources and encouragement that these teams of the second wave, as well as the support that the teams of the first wave will need to continue forward. So I look forward to listen to the results of the first round of grantees. And once again, congratulations and thank you for your passion in creating a new kind of knowledge-based Cyprus, a knowledge-based economy, but also research and innovation is not just for economic competitiveness. Most important of all, it's about the exploitation of our intellectual capital for social prosperity and happiness about Cyprus. Thank you very much.
So we have to take some measures because of COVID. We respect the rules. Από λόγω μεγάλο, λοιπόν. Thank you, Deputy Minister. Thank you very much. We are really grateful for the support of the government. And I must say, without it, we wouldn't have reached so far. So thank you again. And as we are all here today mostly to listen to the unique, innovative projects of 6 teams who, along with the support of Cyprus Seeds, the last 12 months, have progressed, and we are all very proud of them, and we want to hear them. So my name is Maria Georgiadou. I am the Managing Director of Cyprus Seeds, and I would like to just spend 5 or 7 minutes to give you an intro to Cyprus Seeds, just to get the big picture before we go to the presentations. Then after the presentations, we will listen to our guest speaker, Professor Kostas Markitis, and that's the end of the event. So I will try to respect the time. I would like to ask, before I begin, how many of you believe that Cyprus has talent in the universities of Cyprus? Research talent. How many of you believe that? All of us. And how many of you know of Cypriots who have commercialized their research and have taken their innovative research to the market, and we have success stories for Cyprus? How many of you are aware of some Cypriots? A small number. So this is the gap which Cyprus Seeds is trying to fill. We are trying to bring academic, innovative research from the labs to the market. And why do we want to do that? Because we would like to have impact to society. That's the mission of Cyprus Seeds. And what is Cyprus Seeds? It's a non-profit initiative established in July 2018. It focuses on academic research that has strong IP value, the potential to commercialize, and global outlook. We are looking at the global market. And we offer smart funding. It's not just funding, it's more than funding. We offer grants, entrepreneurship training, mentoring, and networking with potential customers and potential investors. Why are we doing it? Well, for a number of reasons. One of the main reasons is because we want to slow down and even reverse the brain drain in Cyprus. We are also doing it because we would like to attract to Cyprus funding from private investors beyond EU grants and beyond national funds. And we would like to complement other important efforts in Cyprus to create a pipeline of Cypriot startups, spin-outs, and of course to improve links of the academia with the industry and accelerate the growth of Cypriot academic, scientific, innovative research. How we achieved that, I will give you the answer, but let me tell you what the inspiration of this initiative was. It was similar programs outside Cyprus in the US and Europe from top universities who have been doing it for years with great success. The biggest inspiration for us was MIT. There is a similar program at MIT called the Spante, Technology Innovation, that has been offering similar support to MIT researchers for the last 18 years with amazing results. Again, it was a philanthropic initiative by a person called Deshpande, an Indian alumni of MIT who donated 18 million to support this objective. And if you look at the figure, 38% of the funded projects spanned out. That's amazing. You may say that's the US, but we have talent. Remember, we all said that. So who conceived this idea of Cyprus Seeds? And who gave the name Cyprus Seeds? Believe it or not, it was people from the diaspora. First and foremost, I would like to mention Mr. George David, who is here with us today, and I would like to thank him very much, along with a Cypriot called Yannis Monovoukas, who is based in Boston, a Greek called Marina Hatzopoulos, also based in Boston. I think some of us know Marina. She's also on the council, the National Council for the Support of Research and Innovation in Cyprus, and our George Saveriadis, whom you have met. I would like at this point to offer to Mr. David a plaque for our appreciation for everything he has done. It's here. Because of COVID, I don't know if we should give it to you, but it's here. In great appreciation. On behalf of all of us, thank you very much. I'll save it here for you. So, beyond the principal investigators of the idea, if I may use that term, because that's the term we use with the researchers, οι επινοητές. Beyond αυτούς τους επινοητές, I must say, if it were not for the donors who gave their first money to begin the Cyprus Seeds Program, we wouldn't be here. So our anchor donor, again, is the diaspora. It's the Hellenic Initiative, which is a non-profit organization in New York, established in 2012 with the mission to support crisis relief, but also entrepreneurship in Greece and Cyprus. One of the founding members, again, was Mr. David, who helped immensely to bring us together. Not only they are the anchor donors of Cyprus Seeds, they are supporting to network our teams with the market in the US, and not only. They open doors for us, and that's important. Another important donor is the Leventis Foundation, and of course, the government of Cyprus, which from the very first year, from inception, Mr. Haris Georgiadis, you were the Minister of Finance then, and I thank you immensely for trusting us. Thank you for being with us as well. So the government started supporting Cyprus Seeds since the beginning, but then private companies in Cyprus also trusted us, including Eurobank, Ernst & Young, Medochemi, Alpha Mega, Nopal Energy, and many more. But also, I would like to thank individuals of the diaspora, Greeks and Cypriots in Europe, Switzerland, and America, who have been supporting us with their money as well since the beginning. Especially, I would like to thank, and I hope he's listening, Mr. Andrew Michaels in Switzerland, originally from Limassol, but now in Zurich and supporting us all the way. If it were not for the key sponsor, the USA Embassy in Cyprus, we wouldn't have been able to bring so many amazing speakers and trainers from the US to mentor, to advise, to train our research teams. Thank you, Ambassador, very much. And yes, we partnered with the very best, the MIT chapter in Athens. They have been running I think, the most reputable accelerator program for startups in Greece for a number of years now, and they have been partners to Cyprus Seeds since the beginning. Thank you, MIT. And pro bono services, there were so many who supported us with pro bono services so that we saved the donations to give to projects. I put down a few professionals, lawyers, catering services, trainers. Everybody has been giving pro bono services so that we save money to give to projects. So, have we delivered? Can Cyprus Seeds accelerate the growth of the Cypriot scientific innovation system? Well, we have just completed the first cycle, and we are moving on to the second cycle. Just look at the numbers. In the first cycle, when we announced the program in 2019, we received 35 applications from all the universities of Cyprus and research centers. And we chose 6 to participate in the program. You can see the sectors. There were many from health, from energy, water, ICT. Then you can see what the second cycle is showing. The second cycle was announced just at the beginning of the crisis, of the COVID crisis. And yet, we received 54 applications. That's amazing. Over 1 year, more than double. And yes, we have concluded on 5 new teams. However, we're giving the chance in the second cycle to those in the first cycle, the majority of the teams in the first cycle who have progressed and have expressed interest to continue with Cyprus Seeds for second year, to also continue with us. So we are talking about 10 teams. These are the teams of the first cycle. You will be listening to them very shortly, so I will not go through them, but we have 3 from health, 1 from energy, 1 from water, and 1 from ICT. What have we achieved? We have achieved over 1 year rather the first year, we raised about 400,000 donations from the private sector. These were matched by the government. During the first cycle, I must give a clarification here. We accepted 7 teams, but then in the middle of the year, one of our teams decided to accept the appointment of chief scientist, and so we remained with 6 teams. So it's 6 teams we supported for the 12-month period, and 5 of them filed IP. That's the first step to be thinking about commercializing. Then, between them, they have recruited 10 people, part-time or full-time. What does that mean? We created employment. And one of them, you will be hearing it, was very successful in signing an option agreement to develop further and to sign a licensing agreement should the results be as good as they promised to be. And what else have we achieved over 1 year? Well, we have changed the mindset of the academics, and they are thinking now of daring to go to the market, not just publish papers, but take their unique ideas from the lab to the market. So almost all of them are thinking to spin out or to proceed with a licensing agreement. And the second cycle, they want to begin. We have 2 teams from health, one team from computer science, new sector, art and heritage, and another new sector, agriculture. So we have research and talent in all the sectors of the economy. I will leave you with our yearly milestones. Yes, we finished 1 year. We are about to begin the second year. What are our objectives? We wish to continue to grow this program. So we wish to continue to raise about $500,000 from donations from private sources, foundations, government, so that we continue to grow and to support academic research. We would like to continue to support a minimum of 5 research projects. We would like to engage all the universities of Cyprus and research centers. It's not for one university, this program. It's for the whole country. It's a national program. And we would like to increase awareness about commercializing research and how beautiful this roadmap is. We would like to expand the network of quality collaborations beyond MIT, Tufts University. We've started collaborating, and Reload Greece in the UK. So we are continuing to expand with quality collaborations. And we will try to organize an annual demo day so that the teams present their work. Finally, why do we think it's a unique initiative? Because it is the only initiative that focuses on commercializing academic research. We believe that there is so much talent in the universities of Cyprus. It's a matter of taking them by the hand, nurturing them, and helping them to make the leap to the market. And at this point, let me show you, I would like to show you something. We started with this a year ago. And what do we have this year, 1 year after? This. So this is what we want to continue doing. By the way, you have one of these in your presents. So please nurture it, put water, take care of it, and it will pay back. So why is it a unique initiative? It is also a unique initiative because it adopts successful approaches from the USA that maybe they are unique. It is unique in the whole of Europe, what we are doing. I am biased. I think we are, because we have approached and we have adopted methodologies from the US, which is the mother of entrepreneurship. So here we go. It is unique in that way too. And why? because it is being supported by the diaspora, the Hellenic diaspora, from the US initially, but then from Australia, from the UK, and this is beautiful. Why? Because they want to give back. So if they see results, they will continue to give back. And they give not only financial support, they give everything. So let's prove them correct. Finally, I will leave you with the benefits for Cyprus. The benefits. It's the planting of seeds to create a pipeline of Cypriot technology companies, to attract highly skilled and to give opportunities for employment to highly skilled people, to create IP portfolio, to enhance technology-driven culture, extremely important for us, and to retain the talented youth in Cyprus. A very big thank you before I leave you to the University of Cyprus, because they supported Cyprus Seeds for the design and for launching it to Cyprus, to the Cyprus community. To the Research Innovation Foundation, where are you? Yes. For supporting us, for being next to us, for being our partners. To the Cyprus research community for trusting us from the first year and continuing to trust this program. To the Cyprus Institute for hosting us, not only today, but many times, for training and other events. To my team, Panayota Polikarpou and Yorgos Antoniou, I couldn't have done it without them, and I mean it. Graduate of University of Cyprus, and Yorgos, who, I don't know, he disappeared. He's a graduate of Deusto University in Spain. Leon Sandler, he is the executive director of the MIT Deshpande Center, and he's next to us since the beginning. And finally, the mentors, those people who have been supporting the teams every month, regular meetings, pro bono. They have been catalytic in making the teams what you are about to see. I will show you a video before we begin with the presentations, just to see what these mentors have to say about the teams and about the program.
As we know, Cyprus has had a long history of developing great research and innovation. What Cyprus Seeds does is take this great research taking place at universities and research centers all over Cyprus and helping the researchers to commercialize that technology and get it out into the marketplace.
As an evaluator, I've been pleased and to be able to see the breadth of the technological innovation that's coming out of Cyprus.
A lot of these researchers really have never thought about running a business before, but they have the enthusiasm and they have the intellectual capability to do it. They just have to be coached to get on and do it.
During this year, you've learned a lot about what's involved in commercializing research, in understanding customers, and understanding markets.
We started out the program asking what's the market need, what's the application, how can we best make a difference with this technology, and that, I think, was the most impactful part of the interaction.
Sales, revenues that come out of commercializing technology are important, but I think more important to me is building that foundation of being innovative.
The journey is not over yet. It's a long journey, and sometimes it may seem like it's a never-ending journey. So make sure you enjoy it.
My advice to researchers at Cyprus Seeds is to stay in very close contact with your customers from the very beginning.
There is so much to learn, and at the time that you are at a university, before you've actually started a company, you have the opportunity to talk to people in the industry and really learn what they're doing, what their problems are. If you listen closely, you will hear things that you don't anticipate, and maybe learn more about what your technology can offer than you even imagined.
When I learned about the organization last year and saw the passion of wanting Cypriot startups to do well, it reminded me how much help we received from our mentors, and that's why I decided to get involved.
You'll continue to grow, and you'll continue to get better and better at doing this. So also be sure to share your knowledge with other people.
You can't do it unless you find a way to get entrepreneurs to mentor the entrepreneurs.
I've been pleased to have been paired with a great technical team, a team that not only has very innovative ideas, solving real-world problems.
Teams that are motivated by changing the world instead of making money are much more cohesive, they're much more driven, and they're much more successful. They happen to make money.
I am so proud of the achievements of Cyprus Seeds in this first year, but I must say that I'm not really surprised. Cyprus has great academic research, really world-class.
It's not all about technology, it's really about the people who come together, put a team together, and have the drive to build a company.
This is a very exciting time to be part of the Cyprus startup ecosystem. All the fundamentals are in place for a thriving startup ecosystem to grow.
You're going to form the core of a new generation of Cyprus innovators who are going to take Cyprus into a knowledge-based economy, the economy of the future.
So it's time to hear the projects, the researchers. And where are they? We will start with Professor Yorgos Georgiou from the University of Cyprus. Welcome, Yorgo.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to present our solution for the early detection of problems in photovoltaic systems. Did you know that by 2050, 69% of our electricity at home will be coming from photovoltaics? This is really staggering. In fact, it is now widely accepted that solar energy is the only viable alternative in the quest to combat climate change. You can see how far this technology has moved on. This is the world's largest photovoltaic park, which is in China. It's the Great Wall of Solar, and it is enough to supply electricity to 500,000 people, roughly the size of Cyprus. Now, imagine for a minute you are in 2050 and you rely on this technology for your electricity at home. Of course, you do not want to be affected by environmental conditions such as soiling on your photovoltaic panels. And in fact, you don't want to be affected by bird droppings, for that matter. Of course, you want to have a reliable technology that can provide high-quality electricity at home at a reasonable price. So, as photovoltaics is becoming an important part of our electricity mix, and we are depending more and more on this technology, it is very important to assure its quality and reliability, to maximize the output from these systems, and to minimize the cost. Fortunately, at Solex, we have the solution. We are developing a solution that provides early and reliable detection of problems in photovoltaic systems that ascertains low electricity cost and high electricity supply. We have the technology, which consists of proprietary hardware that produces, we have the technology that comprises of hardware, proprietary hardware, that produces electrical signals that are analyzed using expert systems in order to identify the faults. And then, in turn, we can also make decisions about corrective and predictive action in order to ensure high-quality, uninterrupted electricity supplies for our homes. What is our competitive advantage? We can detect problems before even 1% power loss, compared to conventional technologies that can do that at 5%. We have a low-cost solution which consists of low-power electronics, and we have a non-intrusive plug-and-play solution, so it can be installed on new systems as well as retrofitted to existing systems. And this is a living proof that our technology works. This is a real photovoltaic systems where we have been testing. We know there is a problem. The conventional method detected this problem in day 49. Our Solex solution detected the problem in day 7, giving us 6 weeks to make action to change things, and of course, saving billions of euros globally. The market for photovoltaics is amazing. It is the only technology that has been growing steadily for the last 10 to 15 years by more than 25% per year, and this is expected to grow in the future. In fact, by 2025, we will have 1 terawatt annual installed capacity. In terms of the market for our detection systems, this is at about 10 billion euros annually, and it is expected to grow by 10 times in 10 years. Why us? Because we are experts in this field. We have a long track record collaborating with global players such as Hanwha Qcells and Honeywell. We have state-of-the-art infrastructure for testing and validation, and we have a global network of partners for testing, validation, but these partners have also expressed their interest to partner with us for the exploitation of the technology. Where have we been? Where are we going? The journey started with the Cyprus Seeds Program back in July 2019. We validated our concept. Then we started developing and testing our prototypes with great success. We filed for a patent in the US and Europe. And more recently, we have been doing exhaustive testing on real photovoltaic systems with great success. We have also undertaken a preliminary market research with very encouraging results, looking at encouraging results from the market as well as the route to exploitation. Where do we want to go now? We want to continue with our exhaustive testing in order to obtain more and more feedback to develop further our product. And we want to focus on developing our business to be ready to pitch in front of VCs for the next round of funding. And of course, by the end of 2021, we want to be able to launch our business. How do we see the routes to commercialization? We see two routes for monetization. The first one is a standalone system coupled to a monitoring solution that will provide early and reliable detection of problems in the system. And the second one is to be our solution to be incorporated into inverters so that we render the inverters an intelligent entity that can detect and solve these problems. Think that there are 200 million inverters manufactured every year globally. You can imagine the opportunity of having our solution incorporated into this technology. So the future of photovoltaics is bright. In fact, it is well accepted that solar energy is now the only viable solution in our quest to combat climate change. However, as we rely more and more on this technology, we have to ensure that our systems are reliable and they are of good quality. And we at Solex have the technology and have the know-how to make this into a global success. Before I finish, I would like to say a big thank you to the University of Cyprus for the continuous support. I would also like to thank Cyprus Seeds and the donors for giving us this opportunity. The enthusiasm of these people, the energy, the opportunities they have provided us for networking, training, patenting, mentoring has been amazing. For me, the highlight was the mentoring. I've had the privilege to be mentored by the best people in the field worldwide. They have helped us steer our idea in the right direction, and for this, I'm very grateful. Finally, I would like to say that the Cyprus Seeds experience is unique because it has provided the opportunity for young talent to be nurtured in order to achieve its full potential. We really must support this effort in order to give the opportunity to more of these people to shine, because at the end of the day, it's our society and our economy that will benefit in the longer term. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Yorgos. Very nice words and very encouraging to continue. I would like to welcome now Professor Maria Antoniou from the University of Technology, Cyprus University of Technology.
Good evening. My name is Maria Antoniou, and I'm an assistant professor at the Cyprus University of Technology. And I would like to start this presentation by asking you a question. Would you drink this, would you have a sip of this water if your drinking water looked like this? Of course not. Reality is that sometimes our lakes and dams that provide us with drinking water do turn green, and we need to address it. So thankfully, my research group and I have developed a cost-efficient and an environmentally friendly technology, which is highly efficient, that can address this problem so you don't have to drink water looking like that. So besides these really aesthetic effects with this color turning green, we still have this water not only smells really badly, but it tastes also awfully. And the reason behind it is a type of bacteria that have this characteristic cyano color. But the biggest threat is that these bacteria have the ability to produce toxic compounds that are dangerous to humans, animals, to fish, And they make the water unfit for drinking, coming in contact with, swimming, or so it's a really big problem. How big of a problem? Well, here is a map with all the countries where we have seen these toxic compounds occurring. And what we've seen is that you can find them pretty much everywhere in the world, even Antarctica. And I know that the question is, okay, so how really dangerous these compounds are? Well, some of them are even more dangerous than the venom of cobra, and they can be 10 times more toxic than the venom of cobra. So it's a really big problem that we need to address. The question is, are we next? Well, probably. It's a global problem. Just a month ago, I don't know if you read the news, but there was this massive fish deaths here in Athalassa's lake, in Athalassa's park. So the Department of Forestry had to investigate it, and what they came up with is that their initial investigations indicate that these toxins, these bacteria and these toxins were present, and they believe that that's what caused these massive fish deaths. The economic impact that we have, it affects a number of sectors, and it's the health sector, it's the fishery and tourism industry, the water and management sector, and we can see losses in the millions annually of euros or dollars, depending on your currency. So the question is there something that can be done about this problem, that we can come and address it and provide some sort of solution, not only to situations that will happen in the future, but also to current situations? And the answer is yes. So we have come up with an approach where you will go into a contaminated site, take a sample, analyze it for its quality characteristics, and then we applied this novel oxidant that we have found out that it can really combat this problem. And then you will make decisions on dosing and the method of application, and we will take it out in the field. Now, what we would like to do in the future is that we want to collect all this data that we've been collecting this past year and make an algorithm where you can go to your contaminated site, get your water quality characteristics, feed it into the algorithm, and then directly go and do this treatment without having to do the pre-treatment steps in the lab. So how reliable is our technology? Well, for the past 1 year, we've been doing bench scale studies, and now in a position to tell you that our technology outperforms other technologies. It can do targeted treatment. It has long-lasting effects. It can do it at a fraction of a cost, and it's also environmentally friendly. And to prove that, when the event occurred, we actually went to Athalassa's lake and we collected water from the place where the fish had died. So we compared it with our main competitor, and we applied the same doses of oxidants, and I think it's pretty evident that our technology worked better than theirs. The important thing is that it actually did it at a 40% reduced cost. So which one is our potential customers? Well, obviously public authorities and the fishery and tourism industry, but we're also more than happy to work with research institutes and with private companies that do work in the field of water treatment. In order to tackle such a difficult problem, you needed to have a group of experts with complementary expertise in science and engineering. And this is what we were able to do this year by opening the opportunity to new talent to come in and work along us. This past year has been an amazing journey working with Cyprus Seeds, not just because they have provided us all this funding that we needed to go out and do the experiments that we needed to prove that our technology worked. It was also the seminars, it was the mentoring, it was the workshops that we took part of them that helped us academics do a mind change and see what it takes to take your academic research, turn it into a product, and take it out in the field and into the market. We are also very grateful to Cyprus Seeds because they helped us with the process of filing for a provisional patent for one of the side products that we have made through this research. We are very grateful to our mentor, Mrs. Garen Colmer, which is from the MIT in the Spande Center, that she has so generously provided all her time and advice throughout this year. Finally, I want to thank the Cyprus University of Technology for financial support to purchase extra equipment that we needed to complete this work. So what's next for us? Well, we want to keep on advancing our technology, and we want to develop this algorithm even further by collecting more data. And finally, obviously, take this technology out in the field. So what we are seeking now is to have funds to get our technology out in the field. We are very much open to any suggestions for funding or for connections, and we want to further our collaborations with the private and public sector. Thank you so much for your attention, and please feel free to contact us at the emails below.
Thank you, Maria. And our next professor is Professor Christakis Damianou, again from the University, for the Cyprus University of Technology. Christakis, the floor is yours.
Okay, good evening. My name is Christis Damianou. I'm a professor at Cyprus University of Technology, and I will present Aplasonic. Aplasonic is a project about a robotic system that works under the MRI environment for treating pancreatic cancer. Oh, didn't push it. Okay, many people told me that this is mission impossible to use a robotic system under MRI environment, but as you will see, we managed to accomplish that. Why to treat pancreatic cancer? The reason is because the statistics are horrible. 0.4 million deaths every year. The survival rate is less than 5%. The current treatment is surgery followed by chemotherapy and radiotherapy. Many times the tumor will recur and there is no alternative. Focus ultrasound can play this role because it uses high intensity. It's 10,000 times bigger than diagnostic ultrasound, and this is causing temperatures in the range of 60 to 90 degrees Celsius. This temperature is enough to destroy cancer cells. Now, why do we need a robotic system? A single shot of ultrasound will create a lesion of 2 or 3 millimeters in diameter. This is not enough to cover the entire tumor. Therefore, you need a robotic system. On the right, you see a lesion we created by moving the robotic system 10 by 10 times. Therefore, you can create very large lesions. Now, you see a video of MRI imaging. Those black spots is thermal imaging from this transducer. So after you create your necrosis, you have immediate feedback from MRI. In the bottom, you see a gel that becomes white if the temperature is above 70 degrees. Therefore, we have a useful tool for evaluating our treatment. What we produce is a robotic system. The inventor of this device is right here. He's a graduate from University of Cyprus and also a PhD graduate from Cyprus University of Technology. This robotic system carries a focus ultrasound. We develop also an electronic system that controls the robotic system. And everything is controlled by a software. Everything that you see in the gray box is produced here in Cyprus in our laboratory by our researchers and students. This device is a plug-and-play device. It can be integrated to any commercial MRI systems. Now you see a video. The patient is placed in pose position. This is the exterior of the robotic system. This is the interior. You see motion now in the x-axis, in the y-axis, and this is the angular motion. To eliminate the z-axis, as you can see, we use three transducers focusing at different depths. Therefore, you make the system very compact. The MRI bore is about 65 centimeters. You have to fit a patient and the robotic system. Therefore, by eliminating the z-axis, we managed to make the system compact. Our technology uses MRI. MRI is the gold standard in oncology. You can detect the tumors easily. In the middle image, you see the image of temperature maps that we create with MRI. We develop our software, so immediately after you heat, you can see the heating. To our knowledge, no other treatment modality can visualize a treatment. In radiotherapy, you have simulation models, but you never know what you are treating. Only with this technology, you can see feedback, you can see temperature maps, and therefore you know what you are hitting. We consider this device very important, and therefore we secure a European patent. And at that point, I would like to thank Cyprus Seeds because they help us expand this patent in all the European countries. We have done a lot of experiments in animals. We've done it in rabbits, and we created thermal lesions in the liver, in the kidney. The main advantages of this device, it's non-invasive. You can have the ultrasound outside the body. You can hit inside the body without using a knife. There are no side effects. Ultrasound is a mechanical wave. MRI doesn't have any side effect. It's compact. You can transfer this device from one MRI to another. It has low cost, and the most important, you can visualize your treatment immediately. We have done a market analysis. Our potential customers are hospitals and university research centers that they want to use this device as a research tool. This device is limited to MRI owners, so it's limited to 12,000, but it's a quite big market. It's close to 2 billion. Who benefits from that? The patient, because for pancreatic cancer, there is no alternative. The hospitals, because they can provide this therapy, and of course the insurance companies. We have strategic alliance with oncology centers here in Limassol and also in Germany, and we want to expand this technology for liver, kidney, thyroid, and breast. We have a strong team of electrical engineers, veterinarians, medical doctors, and physicists. In the future, we want to do more animal experiments, and the last step, of course, is to apply this into humans. To do that, there are two paths. Either collaborate with an MRI manufacturer or obtain more grants from the government or the European Union. In the last 12 months, we received 8 grants, including a 1 million grant from the integrated core. I leave you with one video. This is the ablation of ultrasound in water. If you touch your hand there, in milliseconds, you will feel the heat. This device is on table 2 if you want to have an attention, you want to have a look. And finally, I would like to thank my university, Cyprus Seeds again. They provided not only mentoring and arranging workshops, but like I said, they help us expand the patent all over Europe. I'd like to thank also the other donors and sponsors, and thank you very much. I will need hours to explain this technology, but I think 7 minutes was okay.
Thank you very much, Krista. You did very well. So our next team is from the University of Cyprus, from the Center of Excellence KIOS of the University of Cyprus, Panagiotis Kollios.
Thank you, Panagiotis. Good evening. Kalispera. My name is Panagiotis Kollios. I'm a research assistant professor at the University of Cyprus, and I have been working at the KIOS Center of Excellence for the last 8 years. So just imagine that you go to work in the morning, or you go to the seaside in the weekend, and you find out that the alarm at the security alarm at your house has went off. Imagine the anxiety that you feel, and when you most probably you don't know that security service providers cannot give you a guaranteed response time to this alarm. And the problem is even worse for larger sensitive facilities, with the increasing threats in these facilities and the intelligence of these threats. The problem is becoming even worse. The human resources that they are increasing in cost. The CCTV cameras that they have in place are of limited use. So we came in and we proposed an intelligent way of using unmanned aerial vehicles, drones in general, to automate the whole process of responding to these intrusion detection alarms and detecting, tracking, and identifying targets to these facilities, your houses, critical infrastructures, and making the premises more secured. You see here the technology we developed is an integrated platform, very easy to use for non-technical experts, integrating a number of drones, instructing them and tasking them on different tasks. And all this technology, all these algorithms are built on artificial intelligence and have been tested in the field through a number of different exercises. We participated with first responders here in Cyprus and in Europe in different scenarios. You see here an exercise that we did in Greece for the same, using the same technology for an intrusion alarm in a cruise ship. So we came up, after talking to a lot of different stakeholders across the EU, we came up with 3 main use cases that have practical impact at this point. The first one is for automating the patrol that officers are doing right now to sensitive facilities. So instead of patrol officers going around and wasting time to inspect critical infrastructures, they just have preloaded tasks for drones. They switch on the drone takes off by itself, patrols the area, returns back to the home location, you pick it up, and then you go to the next location that you need to inspect. The second use case scenario that we developed is for giving guaranteed response times when an intrusion alarm goes off. By strategically placing these drone depots around areas of high interest, you can reduce the time that we have seen, for example, in the scale of Nicosia. When you have 5 depots, you can reduce the response time in any house, in any sensitive facility, from 30 minutes that a patrol officer needs to respond to that alarm to just 2 minutes. The third use case is, as I mentioned before, the test we did for the maritime environment. When you have cargo or vessels or cruise ships, and there is an intrusion alarm that goes off because of the radar system detecting an obstacle, we use the same technology to automate the takeoff, searching, detecting, tracking, and identifying the target so that it safeguards the people on board. The technology that we have developed is actually right now estimated to be used using manually the drone is estimated to be €5 billion In the EU, the total security service market is at 26 billion euros, and the global market is at 100 billion euros. And we aim to tap into this global market to introduce our product and take a share of that market. In addition, the security service industry is very fragmented globally, and this is a benefit for us because we will be able to attract more customers and give this, provide this technology to the market to many more customers. We developed this technology as a basic and applied research through a number of EU grants that we received, competitive grants that we received throughout the years. We moved this technology to higher TRL technology readiness levels through the participation with partners in Cyprus and in Europe in testing it in real-life exercises. And now through the grant we got from Cyprus Seeds and the Research and Innovation Foundation for the pre-seed funding, we are able to bring it to a higher technology readiness level and provide this to the market in the very near future. We got the Innovation Award for the public sector for this technology just last year, and it's an appreciation to all the people that work, all the researchers at the center that work in developing the different features of this system, the integrated system. So overall, I want to summarize that we have a solid platform tested in the field, demonstrated to industry partners here in Cyprus that are actually requesting for this product to be out there to make their lives easier right now. We have developed a business plan for this technology, courtesy of the mentors and the training we got from Cyprus Seeds. And we believe that Cyprus Seeds is a unique opportunity that made us think of commercializing this research and giving us the tools, the training, the mentoring, and the funding to bring this technology at a higher TRL level and be able to provide it to the market. I want to thank you for listening by requesting your support in connecting with your links in Europe in order to further validate this technology and make links with relevant stakeholders across the globe. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Panagiotis, very much. Two more teams, and they're both from the health sector. Our next team is Professor Julius Georgiou from the University of Cyprus and his co-founder, Dr. Vasilis Stanos.
Kalispera σας. I'm Julius Georgiou. I have about 25 years of experience in researching and designing medical devices, and I'm currently an associate professor at the University of Cyprus.
Καλησπέρα σας και από μένα. I'm Vasilis Stanos. I'm a professor in obstetrics and gynecology at the University of Nicosia Medical School. I have also a lot of experience in gynecological research. Up to 35 years now, I'm dealing with the uterus, and also I'm expert in training and education. How would you feel if you could not have children or grandchildren? Globally, about 90 million couples are having difficulties to get pregnant. And finally, they have to go to do artificial reproductive technologies, and only half of them they will achieve to have a pregnancy. And the main reason for this is the uterus. So already our colleagues from Holland, they said 3 years ago that we must find a device that in a reliable way can judge the uterine functionality. So we are very concerned about this. We have done a lot of research, and you go ahead.
We've created a new medical device for gynecologists, which we've called the electrouterograph. This device records the electrical activity from multiple sites within the uterus. So how does this work? Basically, it's a very thin ribbon-like electrode. It's got multiple conductors inside. It's gold-plated, so it's completely biocompatible, and it's been tested for cell culture growth to show that biocompatibility. The signals look a bit like this. These are actual recordings from multiple sites in the uterus. So you can see here the different exposures to the different wires of the uterus inside the electrode. So why is this important to record these electrical signals from the non-pregnant uterus, which has contractions?
So we're going to show you the importance of uterine biosignals now. The uterus, the contractions are very important and are associated highly with fertilization, implantation, early pregnancy preservation, menstrual blood clearance, and of course, endometrial rejuvenation. But it's not only fertility the problem. We have many pathologies in the uterus that causes a lot of pain and a lot of other symptoms, like fibroids, endometritis, endometriosis, adenomyosis, even cancer. And all these can be detected at a very early stage by defining and by researching the uterine contractility, the uterine biosignals.
So what are the current methods used to assess contractility? Well, the first is MRI, but it's not very practical to have an MRI machine within a gynecologist's office. It's 3 orders of magnitude more expensive than the device that we've produced. There's also ultrasound, but the reliability of the recordings of contractions is kind of disputed. So with our device, it's a very low-cost device. It can fit inside the gynecologist's office very easily. The examination takes about 10 minutes. It's easy to operate. You don't need specialist training with that. It gives very reliable data of the contractions. It's painless. It's safe, and an added feature is this device in the next form will be able to be worn 24/7.
Global assisted reproductive techniques market is expected to reach up to 45 billion by 2025. And of course, we expect the EUG, the electrouterogram, will enable more effective fertility treatment and help to lower the cost of these these treatments.
So in terms of intellectual property, we've filed a PCT patent that will give us a placeholder for a global coverage, and also a US patent in 2020 using KNL Gates, a company recommended by Cyprus Seeds and also funded by Cyprus Seeds to do this. This patent is very broad. It doesn't only cover recording electrical activity, but it also covers stimulation, electrical stimulation of the uterus to test the muscle contractions, also ionic concentration monitoring, and also ionic concentration monitoring. It's also a device that's not very easy to copy because there's a lot of cross-disciplinary know-how in building these devices. So investors tend to shy away from medical devices because they know that they take a very long time to get to market. They might take 5-10 years or so. So it's very important here to stress that the device that we have is currently at a TRL level, technology readiness level of 6, which means that it's been tested in not just in an academic lab, but actually in the field. We've started doing the first human trials this year. We've collected data from 70 patients, both with normal uteri and pathological uteri. We've had 0 complaints or any complications from using this device. So we're working on the next version with feedback from Professor Danos, who is in the field and uses this device in the clinic, so we get very positive feedback and information to improve it. So we plan to go to a multi-center study in 2021. Here is a team of mainly electrical engineers. There's also a mechanical engineer here that's helped develop the device. So all of these things, they always take large teams with highly skilled people to develop.
So with AUG, we aspire to improve, of course, the IVF pregnancy rates, and not only that, also other fertilization problems of the couples. We can detect also uterine pathologies at a very early stage. And just imagine, you have the ECG that contributes to the heart physiology and the heart problems. So now we are going to have the EUG, the electrouterogram, that will define and will detect at a very early stage the problems of the uterus.
So what are our next steps? Well, we're seeking resources, both financial and in terms of manpower, to continue refinement of the prototypes, to advance the human trials to the multi-center study, and to get started with the FDA and EMA approval process in 2022, so that we can go to market by the end of 2023 or 2024. We'd like to thank Cyprus Seeds for providing a lot of different modalities of support. My colleagues have mentioned it earlier, what they've provided, but would especially like to thank our mentors, and Leon Sandler for selecting them, especially Jeff Arnold. So the importance of having a mentor who's taken something that started in a lab and taken it to the product level cannot be understated. With advice that we've got from Jeff, we believe we've saved millions just by knowing what the next steps would be to get FDA approval process. So we're building in the experiments that we're doing now, questions that would be asked by the FDA in order to get the approval. And this is absolutely gold. You know, it costs Jeff's time, but for us to get that kind of feedback at this stage is really, truly valuable. Thank you very much for listening to us.
Thank you, Professor Julius, Dr. Danos. Thank you very much. And last but not least, we have Dr. Kleopas from the Institute of Neurology and Genetics. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Good evening. My name is Kleopas. I'm a professor at the Cyprus School of Molecular Medicine and a neurologist at the Cyprus Institute of Neurology and Genetics. And our project is about developing gene therapies for inherited neuropathies. So this is the problem we're trying to solve. And really the problem comes to our door every day. These are our patients, these are our customers, and these are also the driving force in our research. We call it Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease, and it's a rare disease like many other diseases we see. And in this picture you can see how the disease progresses over the lifespan, starting with weakness, wasting of the muscles, loss of sensation in the legs, and slowly accumulating disability. Many patients may end up needing a wheelchair, and they lose capacity to do a lot of activities and even work. So although this is a rare disease, it affects millions of patients worldwide, and therefore it's very important to find treatments. There is currently no effective treatment for inherited neuropathies. The big challenge also with this disease is that it's very heterogeneous, so there are many different types caused by mutations in many different genes. So our goal over the last almost 20 years now was first to understand the causes of these neuropathies, understand the mechanisms causing the damage in the nerve, and then to develop effective treatments for these patients. So this is our solution. We have developed gene therapies for CMT neuropathies. These are really tried for the first time for this type of genetic disease. And what we are trying to do is to either replace a gene that has become non-functional because of the mutation, or to suppress a gene that is toxic and causes nerve damage in that way. And on the picture here, you can see the challenge we have, which consists of the fact that we are targeting tissues and cells that are present throughout the body. So we have to deliver the genes into these cells. And what we have developed, which is different from other researchers, was that we have a cell-targeted delivery. So we specifically deliver genes into the cells that are responsible for the disease, that are also known as Schwann cells. They form the insulating sheath around the nerves, which is like electrical cables, and they need this plastic protective insulation to function properly. So these cells are present throughout the length of the nerve, and so the challenge is to get the therapy to all the cells. So the first thing we did is to restrict the gene expression in these cells of interest by using special DNA promoters. And the second was to develop vectors that can be delivered through a lumbar puncture, through a spinal tap in the lower back, which is something that neurologists routinely do in the clinic, also for diagnostic purposes. And through this access, we can reach the roots of the nerves and the nerves throughout the body and achieve a therapeutic benefit. And so we have demonstrated this therapeutic benefit in experimental models of these neuropathies. Our approach is a clear advantage over previous approaches because other approaches were not cell-targeted, so they produce effects that were present throughout the body, and also they were difficult to clinically apply because of the difficulty in delivery or indirect delivery without accessing the cells of interest. We have been working, as I mentioned, for many years now on this field. We started in 2002, so there was a long period of developing knowledge about the cause of the disease and testing various approaches until we reach now the approaches that seem to work. So, and we have worked on 3 different types of inherited neuropathy. The one CMT1X, which is the second most common, another very rare one, CMT4C, and the most common of all, which is CMT1A. These diseases are all caused by mutations in these Schwann cells that we're trying to target for gene therapy. So we had already convincing results when we got into, when we embarked into the journey with Cyprus Seeds last year. We had already filed a patent in the UK. And over the last year, with a lot of mentoring and advice and legal support, we were able to file a patent cooperation treaty application for the 2 neuropathies where we replace the dysfunctional genes, so that's the 1X and the 4C. We were also able, with mentoring and legal support provided through the Cyprus Seeds, able to negotiate and sign a licensing agreement and a sponsor research agreement with a gene therapy company in Boston for the 1X project. And this is important to clarify that this is not a therapy that we can develop further to the clinic ourselves. It requires huge infrastructure, huge investment, and a lot of industry expertise. So this is really an important milestone to be able to license the project so that the company can do all the further steps while we optimize our gene therapy and make it applicable for the clinic. We also are just now in the process of filing a patent for the CMT1A neuropathy treatment, jointly with the collaborator in the United States, and there is already interest from many companies for licensing this project. We still face challenges, of course, and there are some unmet needs that I wanted to highlight. So, as I mentioned, there are many different types of CMT neuropathy, so we have work and we have plans for other types. It's important to have continuous and sufficient research funding, and this does not apply only to our project, but also to all research teams in Cyprus. We need further infrastructure development, and what we have come to realize in the last year is that it's very important to have technology transfer, expertise, and legal support for really being able to move research results towards the commercialization. And this is not readily available in Cyprus, and the Cyprus Seeds has done a great job to help us access this expertise abroad. As already previous speakers emphasized, this is a teamwork. It takes many years. This is my group at the neuroscience department. Many talented researchers have worked for several years now to reach this point. Irene is with me here, and I would like to thank my team. Also, I would like to thank many collaborators in leading institutions in Europe and the United States that facilitated our work. And also, our work has been funded for many years, mainly from patient associations like the CMT Association and MDA and CMT Research Foundation in the United States, but also in Europe. And we also have funding from the Cyprus Research and Innovation Agency. They also funded the cost of patent filing. And of course, Cyprus Seeds has supported us to complete some experiments and to also be able to get mentoring and legal support. So I would like to thank you very much for being here, for your interest and for your support. I would like to thank Cyprus Seeds, especially Maria Georgiadou, who has been really the driving force. I would like to thank mentoring provided by Anna Protopappas and Anna Voronova through the Cyprus Seeds. Special thanks to Leon Sandler from the MIT Deshpand Center. He came and visited us and gave us really very useful advice and gave us also access to his network, Jeff Wiesen, who advised us on the licensing negotiations. And also I would like to acknowledge the support from Alessandra Feller from K&L Gates, which was also introduced by Cyprus Seeds, and she really made it possible to negotiate the agreements with the companies. And of course, thank you to all sponsors and supporters of Cyprus Seeds, and I think today you see the return of your investment, and I think the future will be very promising if we continue to water and nurture the seeds. And we're available for any contact and information. Thank you very much again.
Dr. Kleopas, congratulations. You've done an amazing job. You're making Cyprus very proud, the Institute very proud, Cyprus Seeds very proud, and the rest of the teams. I'm very proud of you. All of you, I'm very proud. And thank you. I had a wonderful time being with you and learning from you. I would like to apologize. We're running a few minutes late, but I promised to give a chance to some young undergraduate students of the University of Cyprus who, five students from the Department of Electrical Engineering who made Cyprus very proud this year. For the first time, Cyprus participated in a European startup competition of junior achievement. And guess what? Cyprus got the first prize. So we have here today with us a young talent, hopefully an applicant to Cyprus Seeds one day. He's representing this 5-member team. He's going to spend 3 minutes, Anastasi, to tell us what their project is about.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Anastasios Christomou, and I am the co-founder of Aid for All, along with Marinos, Yorgos, Christos, and of course, Yorgos. We are a team that specializes in finding solutions for people with disabilities in order to eliminate discrimination against them and also help them be part of the wider society. We know each other for quite some time due to all of us being electrical engineering students, but it all started about a year ago when we had the course Entrepreneurship and Innovation at the University of Cyprus with the teacher, Dr. Diana Nicolaou, which we thank very much. Part of the course was to think of an innovative idea or product that could possibly be commercialized. We wanted to create something that could possibly have a social impact, and due to one member of us having a deaf uncle who happens to be a footballer, and 2 other members of our team knowing the sign language, we decided to create something for deaf athletes. So, with the help of my colleague's uncle, and after observing these people while playing sports, we decided and identified their problems. So we came up with a communication system between deaf athletes and referees in sports and deaf students and sports teachers in schools. Here you can see our early prototypes with a receiver in the form of a bracelet and its various components, and the transmitter in the form of a whistle and a starting pistol. In the event of a football match, it will transmit the decision of the referee, let's say for example a foul, and it will be translated through a vibration pattern on the wrist of the wearer with the help of our bracelet. So far, we have tested our prototype with the Cyprus deaf football team, and here's a demonstration of our prototype with the team and their coach, Mr. Fanis Priftis. We are very grateful to the Cyprus deaf football team for helping us. At some point during the last semester, our teacher, Dr. Diana Nicolaou, introduced us to the national startup competition, JI Cyprus, where we participated along with 9 other teams from 3 Cypriot universities, winning the first place and therefore granting us a participation to the European Enterprise Challenge 2020. At the European Enterprise Challenge 2020, we had to compete with 17 other teams that they were promoted from a total of 17,000 students and 500 universities, winning the first place again, and we are fortunate enough to win also the Public Choice Award. Now, for our next steps, we want to finalize our system so we can take it out in the market and help the people it's designed for. And our goals is to design other systems to help even more people that need it. Thank you for the opportunity. And I'm very honored to present at your presence. Thank you.
I promised the Deputy Minister to leave at 7:30. Can we have 7 minutes more? Because we are privileged, I think, to have here with us today Professor Kostas Markidis, Professor of Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Strategy at the London Business School. And I asked him to deliver a short speech. He accepted only because he's my brother. So Kostas, sorry, I will read 2 lines about Kostas that stand out. He's been teaching and consulting on business strategy and strategy innovation around the world. He's been ranked among the top 50 thinkers of the world a few times. And he's written a number of books. Some of the bestsellers ones are All the Right Moves, Fast Second, and very soon we will be enjoying his most recent book, which is on organizing for the new norm. Prepare your company for the journey of continuous disruption. Very relevant. Kostas?
Thank you, my sister. I'm from England. We don't worry about COVID. We don't catch COVID. So thank you very much. I know you're tired, and I will spare you the slides, okay? I'm not going to use my slides at all. I've come here to deliver 3 messages, and I think I can deliver them without the slides. So here they are. Number 1, there is a widespread belief everywhere in the world that there is a close relationship between entrepreneurship and economic development, right? It's so widespread, this belief, that if I took a survey in this place here and said, how many of you believe that? How many believe that entrepreneurship is good for economic development? I bet all of you will raise your hands. So my first point is very simple. It's a wrong belief. There is absolutely no evidence that shows any relationship between entrepreneurship in general and economic development. And you might say, what? Did your sister invite you here to tell us this after all these wonderful presentations? Let me tell you the catch. The catch is there's a certain type of entrepreneurship that's associated with economic development. Not every entrepreneurship, a certain type. And the type that I'm talking about is technology-based entrepreneurship. Everybody, for example, since the ambassador of Israel is here, talks about Israel, the startup nation, and how entrepreneurship has helped that nation progress. If you go and look at study Israel, actually, most of the entrepreneurship that helped that nation progress is technology-based. It's not just any entrepreneurship. You know, my uncle starting a store to sell tomatoes and potatoes, that's entrepreneurship, but that's not going to develop Cyprus, okay? The entrepreneurship that's going to develop Cyprus is exactly what you saw here tonight. All 6 wonderful projects that you saw here tonight. I'm a professor of strategy at the business school. It's always a humbling experience to follow professors like that who do real work, and me having to, mumbo jumbo about other things that have no real economic benefit for society. It's those kind of projects that create economic progress in a country. It's those kind of projects that we as a nation, we have to support. We have to support because that's the future of Cyprus, okay? So congratulations to Cyprus Seeds and, what you've done. And I'm not just saying that because the managing director of Cyprus Seeds is my sister. I'm saying it because there is evidence which shows that's the kind of entrepreneurship we should be promoting. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is, however, There's always a however in everything we say, isn't there? The however is that simply promoting this kind of project is not enough to lead to Cyprus becoming, a great nation. Why? Because most of these startup firms, they do not scale up to become the Googles of the world, the Microsofts of the world, the Facebooks of the world that create a lot of employment, a lot of economic wealth. What you need is not only startup firms like this, but also startup firms that scale up into big companies. And if you actually go and look at the statistics, this is the Achilles heel of Europe. If you look at the European Union, for example, and compare it to the United States, EU and the United States are equal in terms of entrepreneurship. We produce the same number of an amount of companies every year. The problem is the following. Only about 40% of European big firms are actually firms that started as entrepreneurs. Most of the big firms in Europe are the result of mergers and acquisitions. 40% of the big firms in Europe are the ones that started as startup firms and scale up. You know what the corresponding number in the United States is? 82%. This is the difference. The difference is that we produce companies like Google in Europe, and we never grow it to become a Google. We have a Microsoft in Europe, but you never heard of it because it's a tiny little company based in Germany that you never heard of, but you've heard of Microsoft. This is the difference. The difference is not only to come up with the startup firms. They are wonderful. I'm not denying it. They are wonderful. But employing 10 or 20 people will not help Cyprus progress. We need to scale them up. And therefore, I would propose that the next stage of Cyprus Seeds should be, once you develop enough of these startup firms, to actually help these people, scale up their enterprises. And, there is a wonderful book. I'm not going to tell you the author about exactly that problem, how to scale up, big. And so I'll encourage you. And the third and final point I want to say is that if you go and look at nations like Israel, more recently like Estonia, or even the United States throughout the 20th century, and you say, what is it that allowed these nations to promote this kind of entrepreneurship, the technology-based entrepreneurship, that allowed these nations to progress? Yes, it is entrepreneurs, it is good-meaning people like you here, but more important than that, it's government. It's government support, and I'm saying that because I know there are representatives of the Cyprus government here, and nothing will be achieved without government support. And when I say government support, I don't mean money. Money is a commodity. People will give you money once you have good ideas. It's not the money, even though government support in terms of money is always welcome. It's not just money. You know what is required? The government. If you go, if you want to study this, you have to go and look at the example of Estonia in the last 10 years and what they've been able to achieve. It's the legal infrastructure in a country. It's the political infrastructure. It's the educational infrastructure that's there to support the entrepreneurs. And without that government support, we'll achieve a few successes, but we're not going to achieve the big successes that would allow our nation to progress. And with that, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the event.
Thank you, Professor Markidis. Thank you all for being with us today. And I hope we have made you proud and you will continue to support. Thank you.